Yes. All right. Cool. Here we are. I greet the audience in German. Just one moment.
Of course.
Liebe Freunde, herzlich willkommen zu diesem Livestream. Heute mit dem Stargast Fernando Figueras neben mir. Did I pronounce it right? Fernando Figueras? Is that correct?
Perfect.
Yes, all right.
Like a native.
Wir sprechen heute über Zauberei, über spanische Magie, über Emotionen in der Magie und über was auch immer ihr sonst noch für Fragen habt hier im Chat. Hier wird noch gefragt, was viele vorher gefragt haben, wird der Stream online bleiben? Dieser Stream bleibt permanent online. Ihr könnt ihn die ganze Zeit schauen. Und jetzt ganz viel Spaß. Es ist am besten, wenn ihr Stift und Zettel nehmt, denke ich mal, und euch auch ein paar Notizen macht. Schreibt ein bisschen was auf. Und die wichtigsten Dinge werde ich auch auf Deutsch übersetzen. Fernando, so you know, like when there's a very important thing, I will translate it in German as well. Just a summary of the most important things for people that are that have problems with English. We do it like this.
Okay.
Yes, just so everyone can follow along. But I hope you're all fine, and I hope you all had a great day. Fernando, how about you?
Pretty cool day. It was very sunny here today.
Yeah.
As you know, I live in the countryside, so this quarantine is like paradise.
So you are
Nobody
living
around.
you're living outside of Madrid, right?
Just is the border,
Uh-huh.
but it's already like a river, the countryside, the fields, the mountains. So
Yes. Amazing. Very amazing.
so no tourists around, and spring is coming.
Yes. Perfect. All right. So guys, you asked us a lot of questions before we started this stream. I was collecting questions on Instagram. By the way, my Instagram, Fernando's Instagram, you can see it here. You can always also see it in the description. The Instagram of Fernando of Campus Mágico. Mágico or Mágico?
It's pronounced in Spanish Mágico, but
Mágico. All right.
Do your best.
Yes. So we will talk about that in a moment. But you can find all the links that we need in the description. For everyone who, alle, die Probleme mit Englisch haben, ich übersetze das zwischendurch, ja? Alright. So, Fernando, maybe before we start going deep into magic, I guess not everyone in this stream knows about you, who you are, and what you do. Would you maybe like to introduce yourself and tell people a bit what you do, who you are, and what you do for a living in magic, maybe?
Yeah, that's a very common question I get.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living?
Yeah.
I'm extremely diversified.
Mm-hmm.
Well, pretty diversified. So it's not one thing I do. It's like I feel curiosity for many different fields. So I hop in and out of all of them as much as I can. I'm an engineer. I studied psychology. I work as a performer. I work as a lecturer, as a mentor. I create different projects from the humanism point of view. I practice psychotherapy. I develop some research groups to put together different fields of psychotherapy and physiotherapy as discussing groups to understand better this body-mind relation. So it depends. If you ask me next week, I will give you a different answer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you studied engineering, you studied psychology in your way. Do you feel like that had an advantage for you in doing magic? Like, do you approach magic from a psychologist's point of view?
I would say performing magic, doing magic helped me. The other way around.
The other way around. Magic helped you with psychology.
And with engineering and communication skills, and of course all the things we know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know, in German, do you have this sentence kind of magic is the queen of arts? Have you heard that?
You can say it in German as well. Yeah, die Magie ist die Königin der Künste, der Kunstformen. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard this sentence many times, and I completely disagree with that.
Mm.
A queen for me has the image of someone nurturing with generosity, providing. To me, magic is the other way around. It's like a childish princess. She says, mine, 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 mine. I want this, I want that, I want that.
Okay.
I mean, music is great for magic. You just play some cool songs and your act is immediately improving. Lightning is good for magic. Electronics is good for that. Psychology, sociology, marketing. So every little detail helps in your magic. But try to put magic into other fields.
Yeah.
It usually sucks. If it's in theater, it becomes a kind of a muddy special effect thingy.
True.
So it's like magic is not so good. But I didn't realize that, so I started analyzing the components of magic. What I can take from here, putting it here, from here, putting it here. I would say nowadays is the era of mentalism. Mentalism is growing everywhere.
Yeah, right.
So cool.
True. Mm-hmm.
Kahneman, Theodor Kahneman used to say that mentalism is a grown-up form of magic. I like this sentence.
Yeah, there's much to it, yeah.
When he said a grown-up form of art, it doesn't mean it's for grown-up. It's not for adults, per se. It means, in my opinion, of course, it's a way of performing magic once you are a grown-up magician, once you have understood many different points that magic is great to play with, to understand the element, the relationship with the element, your own body, your own possibilities. And then mentalism is a field much more exposed. You don't have the elements. Your body is the only tool usually present.
True.
So when you see so many people doing mentalism tricks, it's like, yeah, but this is not a well-developed performer yet. So sometimes it's not that you need gray hair in order to perform mentalism, to be serious. And yeah, but you are portraying something. You are not showing what the object does. Like it's a narrator, could be, or I'm even part of the audience observing what the magic is able to do.
Yeah.
You are sustaining all this. You are the foundation of the whole act. I don't know why we are talking about that, but I just wanted to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of psychology.
Yes, because of psychology.
In magic, we say, you use this word a lot, psychology. You have to apply psychology. When they say you have to apply misdirection, people are learning to realize that, hey, this makes no sense. Misdirection is not like salt or sugar that you put like this. It's something that is embedded in the whole act, in your whole movement and understanding. It's like the small stripes of fat in a steak. It's not something that you put on top. It's something that is embedded into that.
Yeah.
So the same with psychology. You cannot apply psychology per se. Psychology is not a thing that you put on top. It's the understanding of psychology, and mostly, I would say, perceptual psychology and sociology, like the relationship between beings.
Yeah. So what you're trying to say, like summarized, is like, can you say like this? Psychology is not like something, okay, so now I have an act and now I try to put psychology into it, but you have to destroy everything, go to zero, and start building your act with having misdirection in mind, with having psychology in mind. So you're saying you shouldn't just perform a trick and try to add things to it, but you should start from the bottom and build everything well thought, but thought through, build everything up with much thought in it.
Would you say, okay, I will have a girlfriend and then I will make her fall in love with me?
Yeah.
No. To have a girlfriend maybe is the result of she falling in love with you.
Yeah.
It's the same. You don't put anything on top of something that you have created. You put it on you. It's something you learn, you understand, you live, and then you learn, and then you apply immediately without thinking. Once you have studied, understood, practiced. I mean, after 20 years performing, you are a much better performer than when you start, if you are aware and awake. So it's not about having a recipe for success or a recipe for perfect performance, but it's understanding little by little. So every trick will teach you about the next one, in my opinion, of course.
So that makes me think of the most asked question that I received by the audience before we started the stream. People have always been asking, okay, so now I'm talking with a Spanish magician, a mentor of Spanish magic. Is that Spanish magic what we're talking about? What exactly is Spanish magic? People want to understand, what do you mean when you say Spanish school of magic? And also, maybe what's the difference between Spanish magic and the way... Okay, that's a lot of questions, but it's a lot to talk about. Also, what would interest me is, what is in your eyes a big difference between classical Spanish magic and classical German magic? Because you've got to know lots of German magicians, right? You know a lot about German magic.
I try to.
Yes. So I guess you have a very good point of view on that. Let's talk about that, because even in the first minutes of this talk, we can already see for you have a very thoughtful approach to magic. For you, it's always, you have to put a thought in every single thing that you do. And I think that's something we can dive into. So what is Spanish magic for you?
Have you seen the very subtle subliminal publicity every time I sip? I realize what's in the camera. I just say. So it's, let's say, psychology embedded into the talk. Yeah. When we say Spanish School of Magic, we don't mean anything, because there is no such a thing as Spanish School of Magic. Spanish School of Magic is a label that some other people give to some of us in order to advertise better what we do. Like, it's a tendency, a trendy topic, like pop, post-pop, grunge, heavy metal, or whatever. It's like, of course, because we are in Spain, we don't think as Spanish people. We are just people. So Spanish magic is only something related to a different country. So it's different countries who give this label. Said that, Spanish magic has a tradition, even if our society in Spain is not very traditional at all. It's not all about bullfighting, paella, and siesta. That was maybe in the 60s and 70s, but update your cliches. But still, we have a lot of respect for, in magic I'm talking, from our heritage. In Campus Mágico, Miguel Gea and Javi Benitez, they have a lovely talk, an 8-hour talk on the history of Spanish magic, in order to understand more or less where is the ground we are walking. We cannot understand Spanish magic without Fraxon, Jose Fraxon. Jose Fraxon used to live in USA most of his working career. He was teaching and sharing with Dave Vernon or Charlie Miller. Many people, like, they are 70 now, they remember Fraxon performing in the Magic Castle, saying that's the best thing that happened there. When he was very old, he came back to Spain, and he was the mentor of Tamaris, for instance. Okay. So Fraxon was following the line of the heart. Indeed, I think. I mean, you know Hector Mancha.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We were doing some conventions in Spain together, hosting conventions. One of them was Ascanio Memorial, and one of them was Fraxon Memorial. And Hector designed this T-shirt. It says Fraxon Memorial. Okay. And it's, I don't know if this edition, this is Fraxon. And I don't know if you can see, there is a ring of smoke with the shape of a heart. Because he was the one who invented cigarette magic with lit cigarettes. Yeah. Well, Florence's Hill and blah, 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 this. And also he was always thinking of love. Before going on stage, he was looking through the curtains, saying to the audience in his mind, I love you. I love you all, and you will have a great time. I will do my best for you to enjoy tonight. Okay. Just for his mindset to be the right mindset, instead of, I'm gonna kill them. Yeah, let's fuck them. No. hey, I love you, that's for you, what I'm doing is for you, and I want to do my best so you enjoy. And then he was brought back to the change room and getting ready. So he was following the line of the heart. Tamaris follows this line. Then we have to understand, of course, 50 years later or 30 years later, we have to understand Arturo de Ascania. Ferragut, and that died a few years ago, Ferragut said that Ascanio didn't invent much things, but he taught magicians how to speak. He created the language for us magicians to communicate. Of course, the concepts he speaks about, they are not new. Blur in question, time delay, misdirection, they are not new. He put everything in boxes and drawers, like first degree of misdirection, second degree of misdirection, third degree. What is the difference? When do you need this one or that one? When you are using this one, but maybe you need that. External life, internal life.
Yeah.
And all these terms. It was from the line of the brain. Understanding magic, not feeling magic. Of course, he was also feeling it, but understanding. So he was able to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
So from these two lines, and then each of them has a mentor, is a mentor of different. It reaches a point, like 10 years ago, I would say, where everything mixes together. In the 80s, in Spain, we were following the line of Ascanio or the line of Tamaris. Playing cards with exquisite handling or jokes and suddenly some years ago, this exploded, made sense, and we understood it, so we could broke the element. Spanish magic is not so much about cards anymore, as is the image, the cliche. Like, oh, Spanish card magic. Of course, it's great, but it's also great with cigarettes now, with billets, with mentalism, with crystal balls, because we have finally understood, after 3 generations, we have understood these roots. Now we can apply whatever it is. That's why it's a grown-up experience, I think.
So if you want to learn exactly that after 30 years, after more than 30 years, after 3 generations of Spanish magicians.
Rauchen verboten?
No, you can smoke, it's fine. Rauchen verboten. So you can speak a bit of German, right? A little bit.
Only that, because I hear it very often.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So if you, after those 3 generations, now all that knowledge and that understanding is now the way it is today. How can you approach that knowledge? How can you learn that? Which books would I have to read? Which people would I have to talk with? Or is there maybe a place where I can go to learn all that?
Yeah, first question is, why would you like to learn that? I mean, because you like this performer and you want to be like him, or because you like this performer and you want to understand how he came like he is.
Right.
I mean, I think we have met several times, a few times, and I can already start understanding your motives. But many other people just want, like, again, a recipe book of how to do the same he's doing. Like, I mean, now it's getting very complex. If we take the example of Mario Lopez, there is so much into his magic. His personality is amazing. His strength, his understanding, he's sharp as a knife. His background, studying clown and body movement, his years spent with Luis Arza as a mentor, teaching him, is like a cocktail that you have been shaking for 15, 20 years. You cannot replicate that. But if you want to feel that, you have the passion in order to get that, you are welcome to start walking the steps. But there is no book, there is no guidelines, there is no product in Murphy's that you can buy and understand it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah. So in order to approach magic the way that you do, I would have to, for example, get myself teachers that understand that teach it to me, that teach me the ways. That's actually what you do partially for a living, right? You are consulting magicians all over Europe, and trying to get people to understand your way of understanding magic, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make too much publicity out of myself. So I kind of don't like that. But I would say, first, for me, environment is super important. I work a lot in system theory, systemic thinking. And you are part of your environment. You are part of also your culture, the economic situation, of course. So we have in Spain, we have been working in pubs for years. It was a big market, let's say. Lots of places for people to hang out until very late in the morning. So musicians, poets, or magicians could fit there. And it's a tradition that this environment forced us to become. Like we understood from our environment. In Germany, you have this big economy, and then you have lots of conventions, fair trades. So many of the professional magicians in Germany are working, doing close-up, like walk-around magic.
Yeah, right.
So that's completely different. You have to understand it from your own point of view. You cannot apply the same recipes. If any of the guys in Spain that you may know, you put them in front of 2,000 people and you have 1 hour to do tricks to them, could be like, no, thank you. Of course, we have done it, but it's a completely different environment. So you have to understand from your, it's more like, getting the feeling of what it is in order to apply after a lot of thought into what you do. Because, there are many, in Germany, it's amazing, all the magic theaters.
Yeah.
Torsten Strotman, all the, but those are professionals who created their own environment after many years in the fields, in the arena. So how to translate this philosophy of us into your own market is not so easy. It's not something I can tell you because I don't know this market. So I can tell you about you. We can meet each other. We can know each other. I can understand Matthias, and then I can speak to Matthias. I can help you grow as a magician, and then it will be your task to translate what you get into your magic.
All right, I think that's something that's so important to understand. I'll translate it very quickly in German. Freunde, es ist eine wichtige Herangehensweise an die Magie, sich zu sagen, bevor ich eine gute Show für mein Publikum abliefern kann, muss ich erstmal als Magier an mir arbeiten. Ich muss meine Persönlichkeit aufbauen, meine Person aufbauen, bevor ich das dann übersetzen kann und anwenden kann auf mein Publikum. Das heißt, das ist Fernandos Herangehensweise daran, wenn man sich mit ihm bespricht, Mentoring macht, wie auch immer. Erstmal an der Person arbeiten, bevor man dann sich sagt, ey, ich möchte den Act verbessern, ich möchte den Trick verbessern, ich möchte das verbessern, das verbessern. Erstmal muss ich als Person wachsen. So, you have to grow as a magician, as a personality, before you can put lots of thought into, okay, this act I can perform it this way, and this trick I can do this way, before you have to grow as a person, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you that you have to live experiences and live in London for 1 year to understand what. But yeah, I mean, the more you understand yourself, and it's not about having experience and waiting for 20 years. The more you think of who you are, the easier it will be to translate who you are into what you do. There is for me, I mean, maybe this is a little bit complex and advanced. I think we discussed that last Sunday. Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
Like for me, there are 2 lines of communication: from the artist to the act, to the trick, and from the trick to the audience. And this is different. I don't speak to the audience. I speak to the audience through my act. So my act should speak the same language as I speak in order to be able. If I learn a trick from you and I do it next day, I will be speaking my own language, but the trick will be speaking your language. So it will be gibberish. And maybe at the end they will be surprised because it's nicely performed or created. But I will not be saying anything. I just will be the support of the cards. I will be like a table, like a robot, just replicating. if I get to understand myself, then for me, it happens. Every time I see a trick, I say, okay, this doesn't fit me, this doesn't fit me. This could fit me, maybe, but I will not, I will not do it because I only perform my own creations. Because what's the fun in doing other people's stuff? I mean, for me, one of the pleasures in magic is to design, develop, create, think, change. And then the result, maybe I share it with the audience. But to share somebody else's work, it's like, look at this girl. She's my best friend's girlfriend. Okay, good. Maybe he should introduce his own girlfriend instead of you introducing. Maybe after a while, when I get to know her and we understand each other, we can say, this is her. It's both our girlfriends or whatever. So it's becoming yours. You are understanding it, and the trick is understanding you. Not only because of the kind of hands you have, the kind of voice, also the kind of movement, the environment you are performing. For years, when YouTube started and YouTube Magic started, all these big debates, I agreed that Magic was not a good field for YouTube, because we had all these things with guys only seeing hands, completely invisible. I mean, who's this guy doing that? After some years, some people have understood it. And finally, YouTube Magic is a thing. Like when cardistry started. When cardistry started, it was a magic with skills. But after many years of working hard and understanding what cardistry was, they have created an art field on its own.
Yeah.
Now anybody can say that cardistry is just magic with skill. No, it's an art form itself, more related to juggling than to magic.
True. So, what can you concretely do? What are concretely the points and the things that you look at when you're saying, okay, this act doesn't fit me? Like when you say you take another person's work and you want to perform, let's say you want to perform my card trick. I came up with something and now you want to perform it the next day. And you realize, all right, this doesn't translate well. It's gibberish for the audience because they hear my language, but you put your thoughts into the act. How does that manifest concretely? Like, what are the things that tell you, okay, this is a bad act or this is a good act? What are the points that you look at?
I usually ask a couple of questions to the magician, and he suddenly says, okay, that's not me. Because my work in psychotherapy gave me some tools that now I can use, not doing therapy, of course, but using the same kind of active listening and open questions in order for you to realize that maybe what you do is not yours. As a tip for people is who you are, and write a simple sentence. I mean, we don't go much deep. Is this trick that I'm trying to perform, what's the message into this trick? Maybe there is no message because it's very open. I mean, it's very open, and then you can put many messages into that. Okay, let's suppose. Yeah, but this trick talks about whatever. Does it fit my message? Like corporate magicians, they know perfectly how to dress. And this piece of dressing now doesn't fit my style, so I will not use it. So the same with the tricks. Maybe this is very basic for some people and not so basic for other people. That's why I say that.
So let's make an example. Maybe let's set an example. Let's say I often do my ambitious card routine for people, and there's much that you can, like the word ambitious card routine, it stands for a lot of things, right? But I mean, let's say I have my routine, the thing that I always perform, and now you want to have a look at if this is a good act or if it's a bad act. What tells you, okay, this is a bad ambitious card routine, this doesn't fit him? Like as an example, maybe so people can understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I will be very concrete, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry for being so
No, it's fine. Let's just for understanding, because I think it's very deep right now.
Imagine horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if you watch a horror movie from the 30s? Maybe it's not scary at all.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch a horror movie from the 80s, and you watch it again, and it's like, no, this is not horror at all. I don't feel horror, because the archetypes of what is horror have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that imaginary beings like spirits, ghosts, God, whatever, doesn't fit anymore into our society. I mean yours and mine, Occidental Western culture. So now horror must be approached in a different way, maybe more psychological, more like zombies, that is related to viruses and global problems. Now all the zombie movies fit perfectly for this coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
So the same with magic. I mean, it's like those beings doesn't belong into the maybe real world, and I'm scared of ghosts. No, they belong to fantasy. Because they belong in fantasy, now I'm not scared because I'm not in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
With magic, it's the same. Saying that if I press this button, the car goes up, is nice, nothing wrong with it, we can use it. What are you saying with that? Because the trick, the effect is that the card will be on top after a few whatevers. To me, it's not the effect that is the card is on top, it's the how. For instance, how does the card go on top? Because I focus, because I touch the button, because I say hocus pocus, because I say whatever I say. And now let's focus only in the how. Does this how fits me? If I do this, this happens. Will it fit Fernando? That is a guy hanging out with a beer, talking about philosophy. Suddenly, this is like kind of naive for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you are playful and you are having fun and you are doing practical pranks, like or pulling a coin out of your ear, then maybe this fits, because we say, okay, we are playing with different rules. Rules like they are like a little bit stupid in the sense of funny, childish,
mm-hmm.
and then doing this is great, but doing this suddenly makes no sense at all, and it's like obviously that you are lying.
Yeah.
The effect will be the same. The car will be on top, of course. Hopefully. But the how do you approach this to happen? I mean, if you watch Merlin in the Disney movie or Harry Potter, they are using a wand, and the wand is or even Dungeons and Dragons. You need the element. For me, the element would fit, make sense. Or suddenly you use a wand because you learned the striking vanish, but then you forgot about
the meaning. Yeah.
And I don't mean you have to be consistent. Every piece must be completely different with a different set of rules in the fiction, but you have to be aware of what you are selling and who is the one selling it. Right?
True. That puts me into a lot of thinking right now. Wait, let me say a word in German. Also Freunde, was Fernando jetzt hier gerade sagt, ist, ob ein Act gut zu euch passt oder schlecht zu euch passt, ist weniger abhängig von Techniken etc. Es geht um das Wie präsentiere ich, das How. It's about the how. Wie präsentiere ich es, das beispielsweise in einer Ambitious Card Routine, die Karte springt aus der Mitte nach oben. Wie präsentiere ich das Ganze, dass es zu meinem Style passt? Bin ich ein lustiger Typ? Bin ich ein lockerer Typ? Dann passt es vielleicht zu sagen, guck mal, hier ist ein unsichtbarer Knopf und den drücke ich und dann springt sie nach oben. Oh, I think it's the same card. Fernando, was it the Five of Diamonds for you as well? Oh. Magic. Ja, also, wenn ich ein lustiger Typ bin, okay, vielleicht passt es, ich drücke einen Knopf, es springt nach oben, oder ich schnippe meinen Finger, es springt nach oben. Wenn ich ein mystischer Typ bin, dann ergibt es vielleicht Sinn, dass ich sage, und jetzt ist sie oben. Wie auch immer. Das heißt, es geht vor allem darum, ich muss mich als Persönlichkeit kennenlernen, ich muss meinen Charakter erforschen, genau erforschen, wie sehen mich meine Zuschauer, bevor ich mir dann Gedanken machen kann, wie präsentiere ich meine Magie. Alright, I think that was a very quick German summary of that. So you put a lot of...
Can I say two things about that before you go on?
Yes, please.
You said character, and we were speaking about German magic a minute ago. Well, we didn't start, but we will. Of course, Spanish magic has changed, German magic has changed, and American magic has changed for the worse.
Yeah.
But we have to have in mind that you come from the 90s, from Eberhard acts like Julius Franklin and stuff. All those lovely, colorful, naive, in a way, acts. Then maybe for some German magician, when you say character, you go into these ideas. Someone completely unrelated to you. I mean, I don't see Julius Frank when he's doing his act.
Yeah.
I'm watching a tailor doing magic, or a magician dressed as a tailor doing magic. So for me, this is a kind of character that is really outside of the persona. My character is very related to myself. And Darren Brown used to say something very nice. Darren Brown, right?
Yeah, you know? Darren Brown, yeah.
Used to say, okay, analyze yourself, choose 3 positive things about yourself, write them down, and 1 negative thing about yourself, and write it down. With this, you can compose the image of yourself you want to transmit. The good things for people to like you, the bad thing for you to have texture, to have 3D, and not be in a flat, naive.
Yeah, true.
And this is very cool, because with that, first you have to think a little bit of who you are, and which one of your characteristics that are 1,000 you want to choose, and then apply. In the case of Darren Brown, it's obvious that the negative thing is being a little bit arrogant and big head. So yeah, he always so it gives this British flavor very well.
Yeah, right.
But it's completely different to Guy Hollingworth or.
Yeah.
So at least this is a small tip from Darren Brown. It's one of his the absolute magic, maybe.
So do you think what's your opinion for the following statement? The more my magician persona is equal to my real persona, the better. Is that true or is that false?
I wouldn't say that.
So you say it's important to differentiate between myself and my magician self?
I mean, we all wear masks in everyday life. You are not the same with your audience, that with your parents, with your boss, with your girlfriend. It's different masks we apply, like it's a filter, a polarized filter. Some of my things go through and some of my things don't go through. In a different mask, it will be different. Like these polarized glasses, like the UV light doesn't get, right? So it's good that you design not thinking at home, practice, be on stage, reflect after performing, and see, okay, this thing I feel comfortable sharing, this I don't want to share. And then choosing if you share it or not. But performing is not therapy. It's therapeutical, and you will learn a lot of yourself, but you are not on stage getting money in order to perform self-therapy. Yeah. So it will be similar to yourself, this character, but it will be a version of yourself, the one you choose to show, and the one that fits better. To go a little bit further, Carl Jung archetypes. Carl Jung defined 13, 12 plus 1 different archetypes. All of these archetypes have different values, strengths, weaknesses, objectives, goals, and tools. Just for the sake of having a nice evening, check this list of archetypes and see, okay, this one fits me. I feel like this one is nice for me. This one doesn't at all. So at least you know where you are not going. One of the archetypes in Carl Jung description is the hero, Hans Glock.
Right.
Or the government, the ruler. I have the power. And is the many magicians choose these archetypes because they are cool. It doesn't fit at all with them. So you see a lame guy doing this, like I am the guy. And that's why magic is so lame, because you are choosing a character that doesn't fit you. In theater, when they give you a role in a movie, in a play, or in a series, the actor has to learn how to become this character. And it's different if Morgan Freeman do it, or if you do it, or if I do it. Because they are translating who they are into what they get. Unless you are a chameleon and the director says you have to be exactly like that, and then you need to be a professional like hell, what we are usually not.
So you're saying...
take a look on the archetype list and have fun with that.
Also Freunde, eine gute Übung wäre für euch, Carl Jung is the name, right? Ja, eine gute Übung wäre für euch, schaut euch die 12+1 Archetypen von Carl Jung an. Den Hero, den Helden, den Herrscher, wie auch immer. Befasst euch damit vielleicht, guckt, was passt zu euch, was entspricht eurer Persönlichkeit und vor allem, was entspricht euch eben nicht. Was passt überhaupt nicht zu mir, sodass ich mir sagen kann, okay, weißt du was? So sollte ich niemals auf der Bühne auftreten. Ich kann nicht auf die Bühne kommen, als wäre ich der krasseste, so der dominanteste Typ, der jetzt hier alles anleitet, wenn ich das gar nicht bin. Ja, also sucht euch eine Persönlichkeit, die zu euch passt. Beziehungsweise nicht sucht euch das, sondern guckt, welchen Persönlichkeitstypen habt ihr, was entspricht euch und darauf baut ihr dann eure Bühnenpersönlichkeit auf, ja? Alright, I think that was a quick
Let me give you just a quick example of that.
Yeah.
So it's not so theoretical, but also practical. After analyzing this, I realized that myself, I was portraying the archetype, the role of the sage, the wise man, the person who knows a lot, both in my real life and both on stage. I'm very curious and I like to share what I know. And I understood one thing: if you are a wise guy on stage, people come to you, they throw their questions, and they can, in a wall, they bounce back answered, and they leave with a new knowledge. But then I'm just static, and I wanted to be with them. So I decided to change my external archetype from the wise man to the explorer. The explorer is someone still looking for the answer.
Yes, so right.
Look at the difference. That's very cool. Now people come with the same questions, and when they throw the questions to me, I want to see a show. That's an intention, right? Because now I'm the explorer. I say, oh yeah, nice question. I was thinking the same. Let's figure out. And we walk together through the act, through the show. And they have been sharing this exploration with me. So when they leave, it's like they have shared more thing than bouncing back a ball into the wall, right? So I put the explorer on top, the wise man below, because of course it's the same as I am, and a third one that is the rebel, because of the way my hair maybe, or because I was always looking for what I don't like from this and that. The rebel, the outlaw, is a little bit there. So I use explorer as the main one, the wise guy as my background, and the rebel as the small one that gives me texture. So it will be different from a different explorer, a different one,
Perfect example. So
it's a nice exercise to watch performers you like and try to understand their archetype. If he's a successful performer, maybe he has very well defined who he is, and he never gets out of it.
So with that in mind, I'm just right now that you said it, I'm just thinking of David Blaine right now. I don't know why. I'm thinking of a David Blaine who has a very, no matter if you watch him do a trick or if you watch him in an interview or something, it's always the same persona that he that he takes. It's always like the calm, but for me it's difficult to see. Okay, he's successful doing that. But what's his archetype? Like what's the persona that he consists of?
Of course, not everybody uses the archetype idea in order to develop the character, but it will be there somehow. I'm looking for some documents I have here. I will find it later. Don't worry.
All right.
So yeah, for me, I would say he is a hero, always trying to find something to beat, to win.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe he is fighting against himself, his own limits. That's why he puts himself into the ice cube, in buried alive, and so on. So that is something you develop in time, of course.
True. So you're saying that's a good exercise, maybe in German. Für euch wäre es eine gute Übung. Guckt euch vielleicht auch einfach erfolgreiche Zauberer an, die ihr so kennt, und vergleicht das. Habt hier ein Video offen, wie der performt, und habt hier die Liste offen von den Archetypen und guckt. David Blaine. Was hat er für eine Persönlichkeit, wenn er zaubert? Was stellt er dar? Was transportiert er mit seiner Magie? Was transportiert ein Shin Lim, ein David Copperfield, was auch immer, wen auch immer ihr euch angucken wollt? Das ist eine gute Übung zum Analysieren, dass ihr ein Auge dafür entwickelt, okay, das funktioniert gut, weil die Persönlichkeit dahinter das und das und das und das darstellt. Und das könnt ihr dann auf euch übertragen. Wie bin ich und wie kann ich das erfolgreich ausbauen? Crazy.
For instance, let me tell you the archetypes.
Yeah.
And see if you feel related to any one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We have the hero, the wise man, the innocent man, the lover, the caregiver, the citizen, the normal guy, the regular guy, the government, the magician, the creator, the explorer, the jester, and the rebel. It's funny because the magician, that's me. The magician is the one who creates out of nothing, the one who designs his own destiny and creates his own world. So no, usually magicians, we are not the role of the magician, or maybe we are. But those roles, like the wise man and the magicians, they are lonely. They don't relate to people. They are creating their own stuff. If we say, you said Shimlin, when I met him, he was just a kid, but now I think he chose the role, the archetype of the lover. Being the lover, you have some things you cannot do and some things you have to do. The lover wants connection and fears isolation, for instance. Whatever. Topic closed. Let's go for the next one.
All right. Well, you can dive very deeply into this, right? You can talk for hours.
Yeah, so sorry for that. I tend to over.
No. That's exactly what we're trying to do right now, right? We're just trying to share our thoughts and discuss together. I mean, I don't know. Do you see the live stream as well on your computer right now?
No, I don't want to abuse my Wi-Fi.
Yes, good idea. But people are asking questions in the chat as well and saying, oh, that's interesting, and Matti, can you translate that in German? Yeah, because people understand that there's much going on, so that's exactly the right thing to do. Maybe a completely different question that many people have been asking as well is it's completely different topic. You're not only mentoring magic, you're doing magic as well. You're a magician as well.
Yeah.
How do you deal with skeptic with a skeptic audience, with skeptic spectators, like when people are asking, oh, I have an idea, I think you did this, I think you did that, and so on and so on. Does that actually happen to you with the magic that you do and the way you do your magic? And if so, how do you deal with it? Or how do you approach this problem at all?
There's one thing I try never to do when doing magic. I try never to lie. I never lie to the audience. Sometimes I do, because my act is not perfect yet, my show. I don't do acts. I don't like 10-minute acts. So I focus on my 90-minute show.
Mm-hmm.
And I check in my script for any lies I'm saying. You know the old ones. This is a perfect regular deck of cards. We know we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't say that. And you know why?
Why? Because it makes people think, oh, he said it's a regular deck of cards. Why would he say that? Of course it is. Maybe it isn't, right?
Yeah. And the psychological process that happens there is called the negation proof. And it's related to linguistic presuppositions.
Sorry, the internet was gone. Linguistic what?
Presuppositions. When you presuppose something. There are epistemologic presuppositions. We are human beings. This is happening. No, this is happening like no. We are human beings. And there are linguistic presuppositions in everything I say. If I tell you that my girlfriend went to Boiji in Japan to climb mountains last year, in order to understand this sentence, to process this sentence, you have to presuppose several things. First, that there are mountains in Japan. Maybe it's a flat country. I don't know. It is not. That there is a place called Boiji. There isn't. And that I have a girlfriend that I don't. So in order to understand a sentence, you have to accept as true the parts of the statement. And this is something super powerful. But we will not dive into that. This is for the Meaningful Magic Club next time.
Yeah, right.
But with this, it means when we make a sentence, there is the critical part of the sentence and the anchor part. So in order to understand the anchor, we have to negate the other part. If I say, I am hungry, if you negate that, is I am not hungry. And because you cannot verify any of them, you can have your doubts. And you will choose which one is the right one, depending on the rapport between us, how much you trust me. If I say, my penis is 30 centimeters, the negation is, my penis is not 30 centimeters. And then depending on your knowledge on human anatomy, you would say, I don't think so.
Yeah, right.
So in every sentence we say, unconsciously, we negate that. And we see which one fits better for the environment. Depending on environment, the belief system, the rapport between you and me. So if I say this is a regular deck of cards, the negation is this is not a regular deck of cards. Which one I can prove? None of them. Which is more probable in an environment of a magic show that this is not. So every time I say a sentence that I cannot verify, not believe, verify, the negation is also an option, and they will be thinking rationally.
So you would prefer to not actually speak at all about if it's a regular deck or not, but just dive in?
Yeah, three things here. First, I analyze every sentence I say, checking if it can be negated, and if it's negated, which is the outcome. This is a deck of cards that my grandfather gave me many years ago. Maybe. If I say, this is a very weird magical deck of cards. Nah, come on, those are regular cards. You cannot prove each one of the sentences, so you choose the most probable. So it can work also in our advantage if we play smart. Second thing is, what are you doing? When you do a magic trick, what are you doing? You are showing something nice, it's a challenge, you are making a claim, you are...
An experiment.
Well, yeah, those are terms, but it's like, if it's a challenge, even if it's an unconscious challenge, you are creating some resistance, and then skepticism will happen more often. If you are doing, this happens because I touch here, maybe not, right?
Right.
And then resistance start to happen, not in the how, but also in what is happening. So we have to obey. There is something called fictional magic. This is something so complex, too complex to discuss here. But as a very simple example is, you go to watch Spider-Man movie, and Spider-Man jumps and hangs on the wall. And then your rational mind says, hey, humans cannot hang in the walls. But the fantasy world says, yeah, usually, but Spider-Man can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Spider-Man doesn't exist. Well, if it exists and it's a fictional world, he would be able to do that. But if in the next movie, Spider-Man starts flying, your fantasy mind would say, hey, Spider-Man doesn't exist. And the rational mind would say, he doesn't exist, it doesn't matter. So yeah, if it exists, it wouldn't fly.
Mm-hmm. He cannot
So
fly,
fiction,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
fiction is about creating a new set of rules, whatever set of rules, and then respecting it. Because you are taking the mind of the spectator into this new realm of rules.
Mm-hmm.
Alice in Wonderland, Matrix, whatever. Sometimes in the movies we say, I don't buy that. Because it didn't fit the rules you set in the beginning of the movie. So it would happen the same. People would say, I don't buy this because you are either overclaiming or not respecting the laws.
That's putting so much that it starts something in my head right now. Like when I watch a movie and there's Superman and he lifts like tons of trucks and so on. It's fine for me. But when he suddenly lifts a whole mountain, I'm like, oh no, I didn't like that movie because I didn't like that scene because Superman couldn't carry that mountain. But I immediately accept.
In the first movie, he starts flying counterclockwise in the Earth to make the Earth turn the other way around.
Yes, and the Earth turn around.
Time goes back in time. Yeah.
Yes.
It was
so I don't accept it inside the fake reality, even though I accepted different things. So putting that into magic means there's so much that you can work with, right? Like for every single thing that we do, we have to create this fictional world and have to set specific rules inside that world. And this applies to the rules and this doesn't. It's crazy. Like right now, I'm thinking about so many things just because of this Spider-Man comparison. So thanks for that. That's a great comparison. Yeah, that's a great comparison.
Into magic, why do we sign cards? Take a card and sign it.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because I don't want my spectator to think I use duplicates.
Mm-hmm. Before or after?
What do you mean before or after?
Yeah, if I open a brand new deck and I do ambitious card, maybe people should understand that it's brand new, so there are no duplicates, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people don't get the whole amount of information. Sometimes you are like this and something vanishes and the day after it says, I'm sure you were using sleeves. No, we were in the beach, only wearing swimming pants. But they didn't have, because we do heuristics of what happened, we try to understand reality as it happens, so we understand reality with the facts that we have present in our minds. Many of them are forgotten. So we need to make some of the conditions very explicit. I would say that in order for you not to think that this is a duplicate, this is a very realistic approach. It's having the trick, the cheating, in the front of your mind. So it would be very rationalized. If we avoid conditions, then people will start thinking of possible solutions. What we can do, as Tamari says, this deny all the possibilities before they think of it, so they have to surrender to magic. They always say, and how many times we have to deny options, because there are in their minds can be infinite options. So we have to deny all of them and spend 20 minutes before each trick, or maybe we can avoid it. I do it in a very weird way. Okay, the 8 of hearts. I put it on the bottom and I snap. Now it's on top. What do you feel when you see it that it's on top?
I feel like it's not possible that it went up, so probably you put another card at the bottom. But
I've been, well, that's not what you feel, what you think.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, right. Yeah.
When you say that to an audience, they start saying, "Oh, I feel like surprised. I feel like this." So you are putting the focus not on what I do or what I did, but on what they feel. We can do it more like if I say, okay, I have 3 aces. Let me.
Yeah.
Okay, no aces here. Okay.
Let's do kings.
I need a. Yeah. I have 3 queens, and I say, and this is the card, and you ask, what do I need now? What do I need? Another queen. Yeah. Like this. So I'm answering their questions, but I'm making them think of a particular question, not any question.
Right.
Because if they are thinking in their minds, 100 people in the audience thinking 100 questions, this is something I don't know and I cannot answer. So what if I make them think of the questions I want them to think, and maybe even say, and then I can answer? Because it's like we prepare the interview. I know what kinds of questions you will ask me. So, okay, queen, and it's an 8. What would I need to have a good poker hand? Another queen. Okay, boom. The focus is not on the how I did it. It's like, okay, what I need, that's the solution. It's a very It's a very efficient way. This one is a very efficient way. Not like that per se, but using this approach, you will get rid of the skeptics that they are not skeptic. You arose the doubt in their minds because the way you behaved. I take it one step further. I never give conditions. I keep them busy in what is happening. When I perform, is pam, 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 pam. I tend to speak very fast, and I give lots of facts and content. And I'm not jokes. I know I'm making no jokes. So, in order for you to be understanding what is going on, they have to be in the present. In order to think of what happened, they have to be in the past. And I know when they are in the past because they are looking at me like with blank eyes, like you can see they are thinking, they are processing something. That's a perfect moment to. So if they are looking bored, I let them be bored, because if I try to engage them again, I'm wasting bullets into one guy. I prefer to focus on the other ones. But if I see that they are processing, thinking, either I ask them what they are thinking because I like that, or I keep them busy. I make them more questions of what is happening right now. We live in the present, but our minds can be in the past or in the future. If you are thinking of what is the next question you will ask me, you are not really listening to me. You are hearing me, but you are busy in what's the next question in the comments or whatever. Yeah. So you are living in the future instead of in the present. It's like a kind of Buddhism, but it's very efficient when performing.
Crazy. Whew, that's something I need to think about. Well, I guess I will watch this stream afterwards again and pause and think. Oh, that's powerful. Right.
I tend to overspeak because like this is my only chance to speak to your audience. So I prefer giving you a lot of things, and then you can review, of course.
Yeah.
You know, my penguin lecture is like 4 hours and a half, and the Murphy's lecture is 3 hours and a half. Because it's my chance. Okay, I want to share that.
Yeah. Right.
Here you have. Oh, it's too much. Okay, watch it twice. I mean, it's the same price, and I already got paid. So do what you want with this information.
So to summarize this chapter, it's not like, oh, I have to deal with skeptic spectators now. As soon as I see people are skeptic, I have to think about me and why did I let them become skeptic? Why did I let them have doubt about what I just did? So I have to rework on my act and on my persona to get rid of all the possible doubts. And one way to do this is the way you do it. You propose a question and you answer it. And people think that it was their question, so they don't think of all the other questions that they just had, actually. Okay.
In a sense, of course, you cannot think of 2 things at the same time.
Yeah, right.
So the more engaged I have you, and that's my job, engaging audiences. And also my goal is to make friends with the audience. So they come as individuals and they live as a group of friends. So you usually don't doubt a friend.
Right. Yeah.
If you are a teenager and you are doing magic and your friends are skeptics, it's because you are selling something that they don't recognize. If you're saying, now I have powers and I can do this happen, it's like, but 2 weeks ago you were my friend and you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
What happened? Did a lightning strike in your head? Or so that's why usually the close friends and family are the most skeptics. Because they recognize that what you are saying is not the real you. And many times we tell with the voice. In Spanish, we call it el tonillo. El tonillo means the tone you're speaking.
Intonation.
Like this.
Intonation is it in German? Yeah.
Yeah. Entonación in Spanish too. Now I'm speaking like this, but do a trick. Hello, how are you doing? And welcome to my show. This is not me at all. This is a different voice.
Right.
So this dissonance in the voice tells people, oh, something is not honest about it.
So
and because this is a mystery,
you have to be consistent.
To discover and relax and believe in what you do.
Okay, let me translate that in German. Okay, Freunde, die letzte halbe Stunde zusammengefasst. Viele haben auch gefragt, wie geht man mit skeptischen Zuschauern um? Hier habt ihr eine sehr schöne Antwort auf diese Frage, wie gehe ich mit skeptischen Zuschauern um? Wenn mein Zuschauer skeptisch ist, bedeutet das, ich habe einen Fehler gemacht. Es bedeutet, ich habe zugelassen, dass er überhaupt anfängt, Zweifel zu haben. Das heißt, wenn mein Zuschauer skeptisch ist, muss ich nicht versuchen, jetzt mit ihm umzugehen. Ich muss realisieren, dass ich in der Vergangenheit jetzt gerade schon das zugelassen habe. Ich muss also für die Zukunft daran arbeiten, dass ich es gar nicht zulasse, dass sie skeptisch werden. Wie tue ich das? Indem ich beispielsweise die Leute bombardiere mit neuen Fragen, die sie sich stellen. Immer und immer mehr Input, sodass die Leute gar nicht hinterherkommen, dass sie immer in der Gegenwart bleiben und nicht zurückdenken können. Das heißt, neue Fragen. Ein Beispiel, das Fernando gerade gebracht hat, ist, bevor die Leute sich fragen, sagen wir mal, er hat 3 Damen produziert. Bevor die sich fragen, wie hat er das gemacht, sagt er, okay, und jetzt habe ich hier eine 8. Was fehlt? Und dann sind die Zuschauer, jetzt fehlt eine 4. Dame. Und dann ist die 8 plötzlich die 4. Dame. Das heißt, ihr könnt den Leuten Fragen in die Köpfe stecken, damit sie gar nicht auf die Idee kommen, andere Fragen zu stellen. Das war nur eins der vielen Dinge, die hier gerade angesprochen wurden. Ich finde es schwierig, jetzt eine halbe Stunde in ein paar Sätzen zusammenzufassen, aber das ist so grob der Denkanstoß. Wenn Leute skeptisch sind, müsst ihr daran arbeiten, dass ihr die Leute gar nicht dazu bringt, dass sie nachdenken können. Alright, I think this is it. I hope I translated that well, because it's like 30 minutes into 1 minute summarized. But I hope this worked out. Yeah, but it's crazy, like how deep you can go into just one question. Oh, my uncle was skeptic. Like, what could I have said that my uncle wasn't skeptic when I showed him a trick? And now we're deep into considering, proposing questions, making them consider different things, and going into the layers of how does this doubt actually how does the doubt start in their minds? Yeah.
The root of the doubt.
Yeah, the roots. Yeah, right. Another question that people were asking me is, why do Spanish magicians, let's say it like this, in the classical Spanish school that we've been talking about, why is there so much focus on emotion, and how do you create a specific emotion in your audience? Like, let's say I want my people to have goosebumps. I want them to be like, oh, like be astonished, or I want to make them find this funny, laugh about it. How do I create a specific emotion so that they don't forget this moment and they live this magical moment? And I know that's a lot.
I hope you don't expect a short answer.
No. Let's talk an hour about this.
I will keep it to the point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this question is one of the reasons of the last question.
Right.
If I do, you have something here, something hidden here, like a 20 euro note, and I do this, boom, and money appears.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe then your uncle is a skeptic.
Yeah.
But if you say, if you find yourself naked and hungry in the middle of the street, what would you like to find in the streets? Some money. Yeah, me too. By doing this, me too, several things are happening. First, you are answering his question, not proposing something against him. So this way it's already a game together. Like, second, you are encouraging and engaging his emotions. What would you do if your girlfriend leaves now and forever? Oof, you are putting me in a situation. What would you do if Shimlin joins this talk now? I'm engaging different emotions. So just by doing that, the more these emotions are related to the ones you want to share, the better. And then I'm consistent. I use this trick to create what I wanted to create. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the relationship between this topic and the topic before of skeptics. Then why would I want, or why would we Spanish people, or why any artist in the world want to engage emotions?
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, I'm trying to simplify, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know what kind of audience you have, so I will try to make it simple. In a very basic way, the way we process information of the outside world, and also in the inside world, but let's forget about it,
Mm-hmm.
is from the experience that happens, me poking your eye, doing like this in your ear. We first have a sensation. Sensation and emotion is not the same. Although many times, even in dictionaries, it's like synonyms. They are not. Sensation comes from sense, smell, see. So if I touch you, but you don't feel it, you don't sense it, in your experience, in your life, I didn't touch you. Then, depending on the sensation, it will provoke an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
This can provoke the emotion of surprise, but this can be the emotion of love or care. The same touch, the same thing will provoke different emotions, depending on the sensation. If you didn't expect, even if it's your girlfriend in the most loving way, and you didn't expect it, maybe you react because the sensation was telling you, alert, something unknown. So the emotion is attack. Maybe she's doing this, or maybe you just. So the fight or flee instinct emotion, and then is the reaction. Is the way we manage. So the emotion is the way we manage, we process the sensation, and the reaction is whatever comes because of our history, our fears, out of this emotion. We don't react because the sensation is processed emotionally, and then we react. That's why we cannot make them have an emotion. We can make them have a sensation, and then they will process the emotion depending on their own life. We cannot control the emotions.
True. Mm-hmm.
All the sensations. Stronger sensation, stronger, softer, giving some tips so they link together themselves in their mind afterwards or in a minute, like what it's called in cinema or in theater, planting, like giving the seeds of an idea. So when it happens, you relate, and it's like your idea. So it's more personal. So you feel more engaged to the play. In Magic, many people like Pedro Brais or Kiko Pastur or Shuli Merino, they use lots of planting. They're giving you things. Maybe something falls in the floor and he gives no explanation, and then something happens that, oh yeah, that's why. But we love in movies, in the good movies, like, oh, of course, it's because of that. You feel really engaged because it's something you discover yourself.
Yeah.
So we can put that to create a sensation that will lead to an emotion that will become a reaction. Standing and clapping, kissing the girl, booing, or whatever.
So, as an example, if I say the word dog, maybe someone who had a dog as a kid, but he died and he was very sad. The sensation is they hear the word dog, and one person will feel sad about it, and one person will feel happy about it. But if you want to make them feel happy, you have to use different things as well, that in a combination plant a happy reaction instead of a sad reaction, for example, right? So if I want to make people happy about that dog, I have to put more input than just the word dog, correctly? I have to put more things so people are happy about it, and those people that lost a dog don't feel sad about it, correct? That is the planting that you're talking about?
Not really. I was talking about planting in a more structural way, more into the structure of the actions. But yeah, why not? Also, if I say dog and you lost your dog and you start thinking of your dog, it's not only that you are feeling sad, it's that you are outside of the experience. I push you away of my performance. So it was a mistake in my part, involuntary mistake. So I'm not guilty, but I'm responsible. So, of course, we are not in control of what is happening in their own lives and stuff. So I wouldn't care so much. Of course, if I, as a Spanish person, go to Germany and in the performance I start speaking about Second World War, the chances are higher that I get a reaction.
Yeah.
That comes from an emotion, that comes from the sensation I put into you. Does it mean that magic has to be naive, white, with no politics, no religion, no, of course. I would put as much as I want to say, because as I said, I construct my act from myself. So whatever I want to put into the act, I will put it. Do I care of what people see? Not so much. Not so much. Why would you want your audience to be happy?
Because I want them to leave my show happy and tell all their friends, oh, you have to see this show because it makes you happy. I want them to feel happy, for example.
So the friends come to your show and feel happy too.
Right.
And tell more people, and then you become famous. And
no, I just want people to be happy when they leave my show. I want people to be happy to see me and think of, oh, that guy made me happy.
Yeah, I mean, and I respect it, and I do the same, enough. But why? Because you have an unfulfilled need of being loved because your mother didn't hug you when you were 3? Or, I mean, why would you want your audiences to feel anything at all? I do what I have to do. As an artist, I don't consider myself an artist yet. Maybe in another 20 years, I start having some shine. But why would I want them to feel something? It's hard enough to understand what I want to feel and transmit while doing it, to be worried. And in order for them to feel something, I have to consider each one of them as the same. Like I have an army of clones in Star Wars watching my show. So I know everybody will react the same way. Because then these things will happen. I say dog and some people will feel sad. It's not under my control. Like Schopenhauer used to say, like you can feel at you can react about what you cannot control. What you cannot control is better to let it go. I can choose to say I love you or I hate you, but I'm not in control of the way you react.
Right.
You can say I hate you, and I feel sad, angry, happy, whatever. I can control that, or I can learn how to control what I react, the way I react. I can learn how to react to my own trick. Are you feeling happy when you perform your own tricks? Or you feel powerful, or you feel clever, or you feel ashamed? What do you feel when you perform your tricks?
I feel pure happiness as soon as I see my spectators being happy. Like when I reveal, oh, and it's 1 ace, and 2, and 3, and all 4 aces, and people are smiling, then I feel happiness inside of me.
How many kind of smiles there are?
I don't know, 1,000.
Yeah. There are two kind of smile typified. To be purist, according to Paul Ekman and all the things, there is the chumps, the chups, the I forgot the technical name. Doesn't matter. There is one smile using these muscles, and one smile using these muscles and this muscle. So this is a contempt or fake smile, and this is a pure smile.
Right.
I'm doing very obvious because of the light for you to these muscles here and there. Not here. So in conjunction, we understand it's a sincere smile. So smiles can be contempt, politeness. Finally, he's over and he's leaving, and I can continue having my lunch. So for me, the objective is not to get smiles. Maybe to connect, right? Or whatever. And many times we try to make people feel something through magic. Do you think magic is the best language to transmit emotions? I mean, maybe if you were a poet, you would have much more freedom, or a singer. If you have a guitar and the lyrics you want to write, then maybe you have more freedom to express what you want to express. So why did you choose magic in the first place? Maybe the tool you chose, it was not the best one for your needs, but you learned a trick and then another one, and then you got some nice reactions. So say, okay, that's my thing. Well, try different things. Try music, sex, poetry, whatever. Then, oh no, here I can express myself. Because magic is not so good in order to transmit emotions. Because the surprise usually is so important that make the other ones in the shade. They are not so obvious. Wow, yeah, haha. The reaction of laughter is kind of maybe nervous, and the resolution of the nervousness, tension, and the release, many possibilities. I don't know what kind of smile they are giving you, even if they're laughing. Maybe it's not smile, maybe not happiness, it's release of the tension. And what would you say? What would you feel? You are watching, you're as an audience, you're watching a performer, and the performer is sad. Then you would feel?
I would feel not sad, but compassion, maybe. Like I would feel like, oh, why is that guy sad?
Many people think, if I do it with a romantic voice, talking about what happened to my grandfather when he was about to die. I mean, then you maybe feel sad, or maybe feel contempt, or compassion, or happiness. Like maybe it's the evil guy, maybe it's Voldemort in Harry Potter being sad, and then the audience is, fuck you. Yeah. So we have no control at all on the feelings of the spectator. Even if I put my most cheesy voice, trying to manipulate your feelings because I'm a bastard. And this is putting too much effort into what they are feeling. I think as a global, myself included, we have not put enough thinking into what we are feeling while performing. Because if we are really feeling happy when we are performing, this happiness will be obvious and is more contagious because of the mirror neurons, rather than trying to make them feel this if I am not feeling the same.
Yeah.
So instead of trying you to be happy by watching people be happy by watching you perform, that is we can do it more streamlined. Be happy when you perform. And then maybe they are happy or maybe they are not. But at least one person was happy, you. If you were honest and you knew you have the skills to share it, then maybe you get some commitment and connection with people. I will stop for a second, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay?
It's okay.
Shall I continue?
Yeah, you can continue. The connection is there again.
No, because I would have to. No. I think this topic is all right. I mean, and also to feel happiness when you perform or to feel whatever, it's not pretending to. It's not. What is this? It looks like surprise or fear, but why? So first, I was not feeling it. I was just putting the face off. I was faking it. Second, you had no context to know what triggered my reaction. So I cannot empathize with you. If you just see me, if you see a car approaching and then I do this, okay, now you make the connection and you feel danger or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Or finally, he's shutting up. So the context is so important for everything, but in order to transmit feelings, even more important. And then to feeling yourself through doing, that's a complete different topic. Miguel Muñoz speaks a lot about actions. Let the action tell you the story instead of not only the script, but also the feeling, let's say. In how many ways you can take this mag? Like this, like this, like this, like very practical, like I just need a cap, or careful. These actions, if they are well constructed, are telling more about your intention than any face you put or any sentence you say. This is a very important cap, look. But if you go like, maybe you feel something, okay, I will treat it with respect at least.
True. So the action speaks more than your words.
Yeah, I do this exercise a lot with when I, for beginner, not beginner. I mean, when I say beginner, I mean advanced, right? Beginner into these topics. Sometimes I'm just, okay, you will help me in a minute, okay? So could you please shuffle the cards?
Yeah.
And they shuffle the cards. No, don't worry. Well, yeah. But imagine, let's try. Imagine that I'm doing. Would you please shuffle those cards? You would do it in a different way. I'm teaching you. There is a triangle of the relationship here. The way I relate to you. Hey, how you doing? Hey man, how you doing? The way I relate to the object. And if it's coherent, I relate to you the same way I relate to the object. When you have the object, automatically you will behave the same way I taught you to do it. If I say, hello, welcome to the show. Shuffle the cards. Then you will say, how should I, if I am very polite to you and I introduce my girlfriend?
Right.
Yeah. Inconsistent in the systemic relationship we have created. System we are creating, you, me, and the object. But as soon as it's well defined, people will react and behave the way you show them to behave.
All right. So you put a lot of focus on how do you touch it, how do you touch the card, how do you handle it, how do you turn over a card. We've been discussing some things at Meaningful Magic Club last week, right, where you can go very much into detail about that. Maybe you can tell about Campus Mágico, about Meaningful Magic Club. Maybe there's people interested watching right now that are interested in trying to work on their own stuff with all this thought, and they want to get your ideas and so on and so on. What is Campus Mágico? What is Meaningful Magic Club? And what was your idea and your history behind it, maybe?
Yeah, well, you say that last Sunday in the Meaningful Magic Club that is a working group I create and we share ideas. You say that we put a lot of thinking into that. No, it was a very brief introduction. In Campus Mágico, this is a 3-hour lecture.
Yeah.
You will figure out one day. So some years ago, many people for years have been saying, oh, you are so lucky because you live in Madrid. Madrid is where all the good magic is. I kind of agree, because I travel a lot, and sadly I don't see this kind of strong community and brilliant minds. And I think they are brilliant minds because of the way it's not like mushrooms that they just happen. No. Something is happening that is a good soil for good things to grow. So I said to myself, why don't I develop a project where people can feel how living magic in Madrid is, instead of being like me for 20 years, meeting with Gea, with Tamaris, in this bar at night, late in his place. Let's make a whole experience. So Campus Mágico is a whole week. It's Monday to Saturday in a small, not so small, it's in a villa, in a cottage nearby Madrid. So we go there and we stay there for a whole week. We have swimming pool, we have beers, we have everything, barbecues, we have a cook preparing nice food. And then we have like 10 hours a day of education into these kind of topics. The teachers is the people I learned from and I learned with. So is Miguel Ángel Gea, is Javi Benítez, is Mario López, is Miguel Muñoz, is Kiko Pastur, is Deidi Lucas, a physical theater actress that will give you goosebumps in the first minute, and it will be a 10-hour workshop on that. Miguel Muñoz will be speaking on metaphors for 12 hours. Kiko Pastur on aesthetics, Mario López on creativity, Gea on structure. I will be talking about emotions and gestures. So it's pretty intense. We spend hours and hours, and then we have dinner together, and we go to the swimming pool, and then we stay until 4 in the morning, at night, discussing life or discussing magic. So it's living magic from the inside out. After that, you have so much new input, that you have a new perspective of what magic could be. Some people say, that's not for me, I like doing tricks. Some people say, okay, I have discovered a new way of approaching magic, and this resonates with what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Many people say, I've been in magic for whatever amount of years, and I felt like there was something lacking. I was missing something. There must be something else in magic. And we try to provide that there.
Yeah, actually, the first time I heard about it, it was, I think, 2 years ago or something in Blackpool. Philo told me about it. Philo was like, Matthias, you have to go to Campus Mágico. It changed my life. It will change yours too. And that was the first thing that I heard about. And I was like, okay, so what's that actually? And like right now I'm in a phase, I'm reading so much theory and thinking so much about theory and ideas instead of just techniques and methods, tricks and so on. Like the first years starting out doing magic, you are always like, okay, how can I do this? How can I do that? And now getting deeply into the theory, why do I do this? What does what's the emotions and the thought process that I create inside my spectator's mind and so on. I think that's even more important, and that's something that you can spend way more time with than just trying to find your perfect double lift or making the perfect control or whatever. There's so much to think about. So Campus Mágico, it's 6 days, Monday to Saturday, 6 days full of exactly that, gestures and so on and so on. That's crazy. That's really crazy.
I've been allowed to share the names of some of the attendants of past years. Many people from Germany are coming, mostly because of the help of my good friend Christian Schenk. He was promoting it because he believed in that. In me, and it's the same. I consider Christian Schenk to be one of the nicest guys in the planet. Doing everything he does is with heart.
Yeah, that's true.
I can resonate with that, so that's why I enjoy his sponsoring me somehow. So Christian Schenk has been in campus 3 times. Stefan Kischbaum from Nuremberg, the manufacturer, he's been twice as a student. Jörg Alexander has been there. Torsten Strockmann, he was there. He will be this year. Thomas Otto wants to come. Pius Maria Coopers, World Fees and Prize of Comedy Magic. I don't know how many. I could tell you many names, but it's like, but also many amateurs. Like or young guys starting to be professionals right now. Like one of the examples is Jan Sommer from Oldenburg. He was creating an act, and he was starting with the act. 3 months after that, in Marl this year, he won the third prize, because we spent hours and hours into him understanding what he wanted to transmit. I mean, of course, the prize is not because of us, it's because of his amazing work. But everybody is working together.
Yes.
You cannot build on your own, and it makes no sense. Maybe 200 years ago or 100 years ago, the scientists, they were working on their own, like I don't know, Max Planck or Faraday, on their studio, creating the crazy inventors. The world doesn't work like this anymore for many years.
Yeah.
There are groups of scientists. The atomic bomb was developed by all these guys together, not on your own. So working on your own in magic is useless, in my opinion, in order to understand the big picture.
True.
Then in Meaningful Magic Club is something happening online. The next edition will be the next Sunday, the 12th of April. So it's a small group. Like I'm going to limit it to 8 people next time. So it will be really reduced people meeting online in Zoom, and we work like 6-7 hours on different topics. But you submit your own videos, you submit your routines, the ones you want to analyze. You did it yourself.
I did it myself last week, right? Yeah. Last week I made a video where I showed Vanessa a trick, and I submitted it for Meaningful Magic Club, and it was amazing. We've been talking for hours about so many ideas just because I did one little card trick. And it's just great to talk to all different people. Everyone has their own ideas, and everyone brings their own history, and it's great. It's great. So if people are now interested in maybe joining Campus or maybe joining Meaningful Magic Club, how can they join? Do they contact you?
Yeah, there is a website of campusmagico.com. Campus Mágico. Mágico, Campus Mágico.
Campus Mágico.
Mágico.com.
Yes.
And there is the video with all of us and the information, and submit an email, like request information, and then people can get information. Meaningful Magic Club is something we are launching on Monday. All the advertisements. So far, it's better if they ask me through Instagram or WhatsApp or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, all the info, all the details on that. Your Instagram name is actually right under you. People can see it, and it's also in the video in the description. So if you have questions regarding Campus Mágico and Meaningful Magic Club and whatever, you can of course contact Fernando via Instagram or Facebook, and you can ask him. You always
questions or doubts, or maybe something inside that they want to share. I mean, I am the worst guy in marketing, in advertising, because I don't really care that much. I prefer having a meaningful conversation rather than to have a new client. I wouldn't call the people many people have paid me money, good money, in order to get my services. I don't call them clients, I call them friends, because it's what they are. I mean, last September, I spent the whole September in Germany visiting one friend. I started in Lübeck with Daniel Meyer and all the guys, to Hamburg with Lukas Kaminski and Logeman, and then like 13 different cities in Germany were my clients, that they are my friends, spend time together with me, we chat, we discuss, we work in magic. I mean, I cannot watch a show without having my notebook and taking notes. Here, under my analysis of Strootman shows, Kirschbaum shows, Philos shows, because it's something I love doing it, and then I love sharing it. Magic is the perfect tool to share.
That's true.
Ascanio used to say that every magician is the master of another magician.
Yeah, right. Because magic can't survive if you don't share, right? Like, how can anyone start and learn if there wouldn't be anyone sharing with them? It's true. Right.
Well, like there are amazing people, like proper geniuses, like kind of Alexander de Kova in Germany.
Yes.
Jerry Andrews. Some of the guys that they chose to be isolated from the magic community and to develop their own stuff that is so personal that barely no one can do it.
Yeah.
Alexander de Kova is more, you can relate to his work and you can perform some of his stuff.
Right.
But for me, it's one of the real geniuses in Germany.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Alive ones.
Yeah, true.
as every genius, you have to learn how to understand him.
Yes.
And
yes.
I mean, everybody loves David Stone or Gregory Wilson. They have decided to be like that. Nothing wrong. That's perfect. And but some other people didn't choose to be accessible or friendly, like Tommy Wonder. He used to say that not because you are a magician or you call yourself a magician, suddenly we are brothers in arms. No, I've been working for 40 years, so don't call me brother. That was Tommy Wonder, but I completely respect it.
Yeah. Maybe there's right now people in the community having specific questions that out of this talk now you got this question on your mind. If so, feel free to ask your questions, maybe in German. Falls jetzt dieser Talk bei euch Fragen aufgeworfen hat, falls ihr jetzt noch eine ganz konkrete Frage habt, die Fernando und ich zusammen euch beantworten sollen, schreibt sie jetzt gerne in den Chat und dann können wir die zusammen in Angriff nehmen. Let's wait a moment maybe for people to if they have more questions. But right now, like, people are just asking, how did you start out doing magic? Did you have mentors? Did you have someone that taught you? And what was your story with magic, your history?
Okay, I don't share it so often, but why not? As I told you, I'm an engineer, a computer engineer. And one day in the university, a friend of us told us, for my birthday party, I was watching a magician. He was reading our minds and he knew everything about me, like the name of his brother, the street she was living, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, maybe it's cool for my birthday, that was next week, to go there with my friends to a theater in Madrid called Houdini. It's a magic theater, Houdini. So we went there, and because I'm really, really curious about the things I consume, like if I go to an exhibition, I like to know about the author. If I watch a movie, I like to know about the director, the script, if it's based on a novel or what. So I started checking on the internet about magic. So I found many forums on the internet, password protected. Being a computer engineer focused on hacking, I hacked some of the main
really
forums.
For real?
Yeah, we even hacked Ask Alexander. So
okay.
And then and it was like, it took me like 10 seconds because most of them had the password written in the source.
The
code, so like nothing. And then I was curious, I wanted to check, and then I discovered that, wow, magic is much more than I thought, because they were in the Spanish forums, like the Restless Queen forum, La Dama Inquieta. They were sharing thoughts, ideas. I was exposed right to the whole Spanish community discussing like 20 years ago. And I was like, okay, this is not just a trick. So from the beginning, I was exposed to this is something else. Then I went to the show with my friends, and it was Pablo Segobriga. You have never heard of him, and mostly nobody. But almost every lay person in Spain has watched him perform in the small theater for many years, twice a day. After 20 years into mentalism, I still don't know how he did the things he did. I mean, no clue. Yeah, he was using an Alcoran deck, but how he knew about all of us, personal information that nobody provided, I mean, I still don't know. And without knowing me, he predicted that one day I would be a professional magician. And I was like, I mean, he didn't know like magic. And I like magic because of one day I was checking on the internet. So when I got my first paid gig, I went to him and said, look, your prediction became true 10 years after that.
Crazy. That's a crazy story. And that this way you got into magic and you just started learning by all the forums that you hacked. Was that your way of learning mainly?
I mean, you know how often magic clubs meet? In many countries, magic clubs meet once a month.
Yes, right.
Yeah, in Spain, magic clubs happen every week. And there is always content. And I've seen, for instance, in Germany, you still have the tradition of, okay, let's start a meeting and we will discuss what we did last week and what we are doing this week. And what did you see this week that is interesting? What happened in the Magie magazine, for instance, blah, blah. And I'm always shocked. We arrived to the magic club, we take the cards, we started talking to people doing magic, asking. Ramon Riobo, the Madrid master, he was fucking our asses day after day after day with incredible ideas.
Yeah.
Ramon Riobo, Tamaris, he made a prologue of his book, and it's called Show Them a Trick, because Ramon Riobo started in magic when he was like 50 something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got pre-retired and started into magic as a hobby, and he was so smart, so fast, so sharp that he created amazing amounts of fooling stuff. Like, I could do you 10 of his tricks and you would be like, what? So, of course, that's food for your mind, for your brain, if you go to the club and you see 10 old guys talking about themselves, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But you have an old guy fooling you, like, painfully. And if you have someone like Miguel Ajo saying, hey, welcome to the club, what do you need? Let me introduce you to some people, and you feel like part of the community. So in the good years, for me, it was Monday, it was the meeting. Tuesday, I was in a dinner with Gea and some other guys until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, talking about magic. Wednesday usually was a dinner with Tamaris, and then it was until 7. And I had to work the next day, so I was like, okay, I will go home. Thursdays, it was rehearsal for some of the shows. So it was every day meeting different magicians, growing into magic. So not, I go once a month to the club. Yeah, it would take longer.
So you went full in, like input, and just sucking everything up, all that information.
It was available. It was just there.
Right.
The generosity is one of the points.
Yeah. Oh, someone named Emilian says, back in 2016, you were in Austria. There was a 1-week workshop with other magicians called Magic Mountains. You had a lecture about memorization, and it was one of the best lectures I have ever heard.
Wow.
That's what someone said in the chat right now.
Emily? Did you say?
Emilian.
Emilian, okay.
Emilian.
Yeah, it was like you have the same in Germany. It's this teenager meeting.
Yeah, right. Jugendworkshop.
Yeah. So they have the same in Austria. They did it close to Münster. Münster in Austria, not the one in.
Yeah.
It was hosted by Rino. The guy who has the Aladdin magazine.
Okay.
Rano Romberg, right?
I think so. Daniel Romberg?
No, Rano. Shit. Well,
I don't know.
The Aladdin magazine guy. I'm sure Emilian knows about him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this lecture is about memory, only how to memorize things very fast and forever, let's say. Mnemonics.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
If you give me a shuffle deck of cards, it takes me 4 minutes to memorize it.
Really?
Yeah, and that's nothing. I mean, the world champions do it in seconds. But in 4 minutes, I can memorize a whole deck and remember it.
That's crazy.
So I can use it as a. I never use the. Okay, that's okay. I will share it. For years, what I was doing before the show, when people was asking me, "What do you do for the nerves, for the tension before performing?" I took a deck of cards. I was shuffling it, and I was memorizing it for the show. So I was focusing on a task, and then I was using this very same deck in the show as my stack deck. So I had to trust myself into into being able to do it.
But that makes even more pressure, right? So if you're nervous, that puts even more pressure on you. Oh, I have to memorize it now.
No, I mean, it's so funny because this kind of memorization is like relating images to ideas.
Yeah.
So I'm usually having fun. Like.
Oh, that's crazy! It took me for me. It took 1.5 years. For Tamariz. Damn.
I'm sure you were not spending 24 hours a day, right?
No, but you want to hear my story? How I memorized Tamariz? I
would love it.
I recorded myself singing it, and I put it on my cell phone. And when I went to sleep, I put in headphones. And I listened to myself singing this the entire night, even in my sleep. And I did this for months, and it didn't work. At day, I tried to do it like putting work into it. And at night, I tried it unconsciously, and it didn't work. And I stopped. And 1 year later, suddenly, out of nothing, I was like, 1 4 of clubs, 2 2 of hearts, and so on. Suddenly. 1 year later, I don't know how, but suddenly I was able to. It's crazy. Like I was so shocked about myself and realized, damn, the human brain is crazy. Yeah.
So many people asking about the Tamariz stack. Why people chooses this one?
I don't know. For me. It was. I heard from many different people. Oh, this is the one. This is the one. This is the one book, and according to this book, this is the one stack, and that's why you have to use it. And I was like, okay.
In Spain, I know at least 10 people who has their own stack. Alberto Gilbert is one of the nicest one. Woody Aragon, Willy, Miguel, Gabriel Moreno, Luis. They all. I mean, what do I need this stack for?
Well, you use especially that one because in the book you learn, okay, 13 cards here, 10 cards there, then you have a full house, and then you have 4 aces, and so on. So that's why it has to be that specific stack, right?
Yeah, but usually we don't do as many poker demonstrations.
That was one example, yeah.
Yeah. And there are not so many properties in the Tamariz deck. Regarding tricks, Aronson deck is much better because Aronson designed his stack starting from the tricks he wanted to perform. So he created this order not because of whatever reason, but because he wanted to do this trick, and this trick. What order do I need? This one. Then is the one I use. So I don't believe. I mean, I use Tamariz stack and I have read the books. I own them, of course. But I don't believe in a solution for everything.
Yeah.
When you see on TV, this tool will solve all your needs. If it's the nail, I will need the hammer. If it's this, I will need that. So it's better to know what do you need before going shopping. If not, you start buying whatever fancies you.
Yeah. No,
that's the problem with magic and stuff, right?
First, I started using size Stebbins because there you all have all the mathematical properties, right? And with that, you can do things that you maybe can't do with any other stack, and so on and so on. So every single one has their own advantages and disadvantages, right? Yeah, true.
One of the most popular in Spain is the original one by Luis Garcia. Is the Fifth Pharaoh. You take a deck of cards, you make 5 pharaohs,
Mm-hmm.
and you remember this order. Then you have all the properties of a straight stack.
Yeah.
You are 3 pharaohs away from natural order.
Mm-hmm.
You are 1 anti-pharaoh out of pokers, and is the one that is more hidden because the 5th pharaoh looks like chaos.
Mm.
The 2nd pharaoh looks like very obvious, right?
Mm.
The 5th is the Luis Garcia used to call this order the most obscure order. He thinks on the orders, there are 52 cards, so there are 52 times 51 times 50 times 49, different orders.
Mm-hmm.
And he divides this order into a galaxy. The closer you are to the center of the galaxy, it will be more shining.
Right.
Mercury shines, but Pluto is so far in the solar system that it doesn't shine.
Mm.
So the most obvious, the order, like order in pokers, order in pairs, order in color, brand new order, those are very shine orders. And the other ones are darker and darker. But there are relationships because maybe the 5th pharaoh is very dark, the order is not apparent, but is related by a wormhole to the very light ones.
Okay.
Thereby doing 1 pharaoh.
Yeah.
And that's super nice. That's super cool.
Yeah. But I mean that it's like so philosophical, right? You can do you feel like sometimes you get lost in overthinking things? Do you feel like that's a you personally, do you feel like that's a negative thing to go like, wait, I've just spent 12 hours thinking about one stupid problem. Maybe it was a waste of time, or maybe not. Maybe it was good. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, as I told you before, my archetype was the wise man.
And the explorer.
And one of the before it was the wise man. And one of the risk, the main weakness of the study of the wise man is they can study details forever and never act. So I was really this one. The weaknesses of being an explorer is to wander and becoming a hobo, a misfit, right? But yeah, for me, I tend to get lost in my loops of analysis.
Yeah.
But I prefer spending 3 hours with a problem in magic than masturbating or watching Netflix. or both at the same time.
Yeah.
I love masturbating and I love watching Netflix. But, I mean, let's be. But I also love thinking of magic. Do I need to be quick and efficient into that? Not really. Do I need an outcome out of it? I love exploring. I don't need a result. If I find a treasure, perfect day. If not, I haven't enjoyed spending time with the elements. And thoughts will stay here waiting for something to happen, and then I will relate. What is the goal? I mean, if the goal is to be rich and famous, better hire a management and marketing agency so they have control of the situation. I just want to understand things. So that's why I study and analyze. I dissect. I like dissecting you, for instance, or whatever.
Yeah. So you get your pleasure just by the thinking. So there's no overthinking, because that was the goal. Actually, the goal was having thought about all that stuff. Right.
If the goal of eating is being healthy, then you have to eat a specific way. If you love the taste, you will eat something different. If you need energy because you have to perform later, then you will eat something different. Why are you studying magic? To become a better magician, a better than who? Than yourself? Then studying is not a problem, I would say.
Right. But I think like this goes even way beyond, right? So in the end, you always have to think about, oh, why do I this in magic? Then you have to ask the question, why do you want to improve your magic? And then you have to ask your question, why magic at all? Or why trying to inspire people or trying to entertain people? Why do you want to make people happy, right? Like there's always one more question on top, right?
I would say that the main problem in magic is the ego management. Ego, right?
Yeah, it's in German the same, ego.
Mostly, if you start in magic as a teenager, That's really dangerous, I would say.
I did.
Because magic is not giving you any solutions. It's giving you the biggest mask. It makes you look like a success without you being it. Maybe because you are a teenager, you are starting to define your identity. And if you are using magic that make people say, wow, you are cool, you start to believe that you are cool. And personality, your identity becomes that you are cool, even if you're not. And you didn't spend time enough to develop that you are cool, or whatever you want to be. So the ego becomes like attached to the magic, and then you cannot leave the cards at home, because then how will I prove that I'm cool? So it's a trap.
Right.
Being yourself is learn from different fields and ego management more than audience management.
So
warning!
No,
ego management.
So that actually sets the question: why start magic at all? Like, why would you want to become a magician actually in the first day when you started doing it?
Well, because you like. I mean, why you are a swimmer? Because you found yourself in a swimming pool because your parents did that, and you said, "Oh, I like that." So why it started is not up to you. Why you stay? Maybe you should be. I mean, one of the main things, as I say in Campus Mágico, there are no tricks in there, and my main metaphor is opening doors. Not even that, showing you doors for you to open if you want. So I'm showing you different possibilities. So that the entrance of the Campus Mágico, the house, is a big door. So for me, it's very symbolic when the students go for the first time through the doors. And I always say, leave your ego at the door. Don't make another step until you are ready to put your ego in this box here that you can collect if you want when we finish this week. There is no ego in there. And if I say ego issues, I focus into that more than into magic. Because it will help the magic, of course, not doing therapy.
And that's where you being a psychologist helps. So that's where it all fits together, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Crazy. Well,
we didn't speak about German magic. You want to finish now, you weakling. We didn't speak about German magic and Spanish magic. You want to touch this point?
Let's go. So because, maybe that's one last topic for today, because I think people's heads are smoking right now with so much input. But maybe for a last discussion for today, what's the difference between classical German magic and classical Spanish magic? Yeah, that's maybe something interesting to talk about.
Can you make a line of connection between the German magicians historically? There is a clear connection, because for me there is not. I can see that this guy learned from this guy maybe, and he opened this shop here and stuff. And what is classic? I mean, one of the most interesting guys right now in Germany, I would say, is Jan Logemann, for instance. Do you see the roots of German magic into his magic?
I think that's something to think about for a very long time, but I'm not sure.
So as I said, in Spain we have from Calonge to Fraxon, Ascanio, Tamariz, different lines with Camilo Vázquez, Pepe Carroll, of course, and Florenza, obviously, and Ferragut, I would say.
Yeah.
But in Germany, I see islands, I see characters. Maybe German culture is not as focused on community as in Spain. Maybe because of the weather, we tend to gather outdoors, and you tend, because of the cold.
I think that's even a cultural aspect. Yeah, true.
Yeah, maybe more individualistic. Maybe I don't know. So maybe people are looking for their own success instead of sharing. Hey, I got this idea yesterday. I think it's cool. Let's play with it all together. So, for instance, if we go back, we see Canalach. But from Canalach, did you get anything out of your magic? Is there any chance for you to relate to his magic and to translate it into yours? In Spain, we have a connection to Canalach, for instance, because Canalach was one of the 5 masters for Ascanio, together with Fred Capps and some others. So we can draw a line from my magic to the magic of Miguel Gomez, to the magic of Ascanio, to the magic of Canala. So we are in Germany. Hanussen, the magician of the Nazis. This is classical German history, 30s and 40s. So I can relate to that because it's 80 years ago. I mean, it's a long time, but it's in the same line we are speaking. Do you really can see the connection? Punks, he was a great success in the time. Punks, he was more into storytelling. I don't see much storytelling in German magic nowadays. From punks, maybe Ted Leslie, more into modern mentalism, that he has influenced a lot of things, but worldwide, I wouldn't say in Germany precisely. So for me, the difference is I cannot really relate what is the line of connection of evolving generation by generation, where the next one is learning from the other one. Eberhard Gisse was creating a very specific, closed thing, very hard to access. How can you learn from Topaz is a different example. How can you learn from Franklin act with a lollipop just by watching him? It's a black box for me. I cannot.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. So you would say, to summarize everything, the main difference between Spanish magic and maybe, for example, German magic is, in Spanish magic you have all those connections, you have a history, and you can say, okay, this is the style that you learned by him, this is the style that you learned by him. And in Germany, people are more isolated, more working for themselves, less open with sharing all their ideas and so on, the way you do it in Spain, for example.
They share. I know, for instance, Philo meets many times with Mario Bagone or with Stefan Nölle.
Yeah.
And they work as a small group or a small thing. If these things don't get the community, don't arrive to the community, then they are growing. And that's amazing, and it's a great thing that they are working together. And how can you or me learn from that? How can we create connections?
Right. So I think that's even way more general cultural difference between Spain and Germany. My girlfriend was living for a year in Spain, 6 months in Sevilla, 6 months in Barcelona. So I've visited very many times, and we've just we were looking like from an outside point of view at Spanish culture and German culture, and was so much of a difference for us. Every time that I flew back to Germany, I had a little culture shock, because I was like, oh, we're so different. And that's what I really like about Spanish culture, the openness, going outside, just talking to people, meeting people. In Germany, if you're at a bus stop in Germany and you're waiting for the bus and you start talking to the stranger next to you, he will look at you like, and he won't want to talk to you because he wants to be with himself, listen to his music, whatever. It didn't feel like that in Spain. Like, it was completely normal to speak to the stranger next to you as if he was your friend.
Of course, in maybe, but I have had amazing experiences. I remember being in München in the Biergarten, in the long tables, and suddenly people talking to you, asking you where you're from, and suddenly you are mingling with people. So maybe, but also, I mean, the way you speak the German language is a beautiful advantage, but makes you think in a specific way. That's one of the reasons you have the best philosophers in Germany. By having the main verb at the end of the sentence, it's a must for you to be paying attention to what you are saying. In Spain, the verb, I mean, in the country, the main verb is at the beginning. So as soon as you say the first part of the sentence, I have all the information. So I start thinking of my things. So I'm creating something while you are speaking. In Germany, I have to be like a blank slate to understand what you're saying, and then chewing it and then replying. I love when I'm in Germany and I watch conversations. You are speaking, and when you finish speaking, people do.
Right.
And now they reply.
Yeah.
The first time for me it was like, what? But that's beautiful because you are really understanding. You are paying attention to model what you said in your mind. So you can take a good advantage of that.
Right. Huh, I've never thought about that actually, like about the different order in our sentences compared to other languages. Maybe that's even something that influences the magic as well, right?
Yeah, and culturally, I mean, you have these Wagner operas, like 5 hour and stuff. That's why in Germany, shows tend to be longer than in some other places. I've seen 3-hour galas, like 2 years ago in Saarbrücken. Like, I want to leave this place. So, I mean, maybe the show was nice, but it was too long for me. And it's like, yeah, one more show, one more act, we can do it. Now a 20-minute intermission. What an intermission in a show? Yeah, give me the message, 80 minutes, and I can hold my pee for 80 minutes. But if it's 3 hours, yeah, I need an intermission. Do I need to make it that long to express my message?
So, in general speaking, shows are shorter in Spain when you see a German show and a Spanish show? Yeah?
Like half.
Half, okay.
Because we have more than 1 hour or 80 minutes. It's considered to be a long live show. Of course, there are theater plays, like. But in general, it's like, do you really need 3 hours? Do you need to fill the show with more stuff in order to make it longer? Or like good sex, does it need to be 2 hours, or it can be really good in 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Less than that, I would say.
Or in 5, it's fine as well.
But it must be really good and really meaningful.
Yes.
Then,
yeah, true. Well, that was...
So, Matthias, it's been a pleasure.
That was a lot of input. I have to watch this like 10 more times and make some notes and think about all of this. Like, if this wasn't a live stream, I would have paused you at some points. I was like, wait, let me think for a minute. But, well, you can't do it. We have to entertain people as well, right? But still...
I encourage you to take notes. If you review it, take notes and share it with me. I mean, ask me questions. And all of you guys, if there's something else you want to discuss, understand better, discuss, disagree, I'm open for discussion.
Yes.
Want to say hi? Like, I saw your comments, so many of them. First.
Yes, of course. It's always like that. Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's YouTube. It's YouTube. People are always happy to be the first. But Fernando, I'm really thankful for your time. I'm really thankful for all the input that you just gave. That was very worthy. Is that a word? Yeah. It felt like every single minute was invested in a good thing. That every minute that you spend talking to you, it always feels like a minute well spent. So thank you very much. And guys, is there anything that you want to say for saying goodbye to Fernando? Is there anything? Okay, people start saying hi. I don't know. First. Yeah. All right. Fernando, thank you very, very much for your time. Freunde, ich hoffe, ihr habt hier was mitgenommen draus. Ich weiß, das war super, super viel Input. Es war super viel Information. I wish everyone a good time and stay healthy. Yes, of course. Muchas gracias. Ja. Ja. Freunde, Dankeschön, dass ihr zugeschaut habt, und ich muss das Ganze jetzt erstmal verdauen. Ich werde mir das noch 2-3 Mal anschauen hier und mir, wie gesagt, Notizen machen etc. Und das würde ich auch jedem Einzelnen von euch empfehlen. Fernando hat es gerade angeboten. Ihr dürft ihm gerne auch Fragen stellen, wenn ihr jetzt noch irgendwo Unklarheiten hattet aus diesem Stream. Und ich würde sagen, dann sehen wir uns morgen zum nächsten Video. Fernando, thank you very much. And stay healthy and have a good night. Tschüss, Freunde. Ja? Tschüss, liebe Freunde. Bis später.